Hello everybody and welcome to day 2 of the Advent calendar for live art journaling and self-development on Facebook. If you go to the description below, you'll see all the information that you need in order to be part of our Advent calendar for December 2019. I just thought today that I would do something really easy for our Advent calendar. Now and then I want to have little bits and pieces to put in my journal, and these little pieces I'm going to call my button swatches. It's also quite fun because we're going to make them, we're going to play a game while we make them later on. But the first thing that we need to do is we need to gather all of our supplies. So you can see here I've got a stash of different papers, scrapbook papers, magazine pages, bits of old artwork that I've done and haven't used. And then what I'm going to gather is some letters, because we're going to perhaps use some words on our pieces. So you can see here I've got 3 different sizes of hole punches. And what I'm going to do is just punch several holes out with using the small punch, and then you're going to see me stamp on them just using a basic word stamp, letter stamp, all different letters of the alphabet. So take your time with this. It's a good way to sort all those letters out. We all know how easily they get into a jumble. Okay, so here's my huge stash of letters. We're going to put them to one side, but you need a good load. We're going to be making some words up at the end. So let's go back to these hole punches. As I said, I've got loads of different sizes. You don't have to use them if you haven't got them. You could just cut some circles out, or you might choose to make square buttons. I don't know. So I'm going to get hold of my paper stock, and when you're using these hole punches, little word to the wise, I'd use a fairly good stock of paper, like hard paper, not the soft flimsy tissue paper, because these hole punches just get stuck if you use thin paper. You're going to need equal amounts of large holes and small holes. Don't at this stage try and match up colours. Part of this game is also to start letting your eyes get used to how different colours and different textures can work together. It's a really fun project if you give it a go. Okay, so once you've got all your dots, you need to sort them out. Again, we're playing a game in a minute, so we want to get everything ready so that our game is as fun as possible. So I'm just going to divide all of these out, all of the small ones on one side, all of the larger holes on the other. Okay, next supply we need to play our game, and that is a good stock of different papers, thinner papers this time, or textured papers. So you can see here I've got some corrugated cardboard. I've got some old paper from a card that I got ages ago for an Indian wedding that we went to. I've got wrapping paper. I've got some interesting little bits and pieces of art paper that I bought ages ago. And you can see that what I'm doing is I'm just tearing off a little bit of it. Now, the easiest way to play this game is to have an equal amount of different types of texture paper or thin paper as you do buttons. And you're going to see why in a minute. Now, the only two bits that you don't see me pull off and put in that stash in this set is a little bit of a magazine page and also some masking tape. You could use washi tape if you want, but I tend to like using up my paper supplies. So we're getting ready to play the game. You're going to need a roller, a brayer, something to lay things flat, and a glue stick. My glue stick of choice is a Tombow. So here we go with the game. You need to put a small circle on top of a large circle. Don't cheat. Don't head for the one that you think is going to match. You just take the two top ones off of the pile and stick them on together. As I said, one thing that's really fun about this game is it's going to show you different colours that can work together. Some of them won't, and that's as much of a lesson as the ones that do. So just kind of put them one on top of each other. I ended up with having more large circles than I did smaller circles, which is why you can see me sort of filtering them out. What I didn't want to do is use the same ones repeated. So you can see here all of these lovely colours on top of each other, and we could leave them at that. But actually we've got the next step of the game, which is that you're going to start ruffling through that paper stash at the top there. And we're going to start with ripped or cut rectangles. And I just want you, exactly the same as you did with your circles, I want you to take the top piece of ephemera paper, tear it into a rectangle, stick it straight down onto your circle. Don't rifle through. Again, we're not looking to find the ones that match. We're literally just going for it in a really quick way because, as I said before, we're learning about what colours go with what. It can be quite fun as you're going through this to think to yourself, do I prefer it when it's a ripped piece of paper, or do I like it when it's a cut piece of paper? Do I prefer bumpy texture? Do I prefer something softer? So don't forget you can use all your scraps up as well. You're going to see here in a minute I grab hold of the edge of the piece of paper where I cut all those holes out for our letters originally. That can be quite fun too. So how fun are these looking already? And while you're going through them, some you might like, some you might not, and you might think that's where we end, but those who know me well enough know absolutely not. We can't stop there. So you want to get your ephemera, give it a shuffle so that it's all in a different order. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rip or cut squares. So we did rectangles before, now we're going to go for squares. Can be any size, you can go big or small. I tend to go small with all of these because I want to be able to see all those other layers underneath. So you're just cutting, don't forget, don't cheat, you take the top piece of paper off and stick it down. I thought I'd take the opportunity while you're just watching me do these bits to say thank you to all of the guest contributors to our Facebook page who are part of the Advent Journal Hop for 2019. If you want to see all the other videos, the description of how to do that is below, but essentially you come on board and join our Facebook page, and there's a pinned post at the top of the page, and every day we will be adding a new video link to that post, which you can just go and find. And the best bit about it is if you subscribe to all of the YouTube artists that are part of the Advent Hop, and if you comment on their videos, and if you comment on the Facebook pinned post, you will be in for winning a prize, which will either be a place on our 2019 summer school, Gezellig, a set of stamps by Lucy, or a handmade journal by me. So it's well worth visiting all of those videos and taking part. So at this stage, you can just leave them now. I wouldn't add too much more to these if it wasn't that I were going to put words on them. I quite like them in their simple form, really, because I'm going to use them to go on sort of messy backgrounds. So what you do now is get hold of all of your letters that we stamped out earlier and make some words. You know, I've got here joy, free, and wing. And I take my little circle buttons and I'm just going to stick my letters on there. And then when I've finished, you're going to see me using them in some of my journal pages. Now, everybody that knows me knows that I like quite messy backgrounds. I'm quite into mixed media, and I was gifted a journal a while ago with lots and lots of messy backgrounds, and these are perfect little accompaniments to those messy backgrounds. One of the things about art journaling is that sometimes we don't want to spend tons of time doing singular pages. We just want to have an outburst of creativity. And I think making a stash of these buttons in time really allows you to have a quick burst every now and then of fun. So grab your journal, grab some messy pages. You can see I've got some great messy pages in this one. Some I've worked on, some I haven't. And here's some really simple tips. So the first one is to draw some really scribbledy straight lines, make a cross, get one of your circular buttons and stick it right in the middle. And you've got a beautiful focal point. You wouldn't have to do much more if you didn't want to. Next tip, grab another messy background and draw a contained shape. I'm going to draw a heart. You could draw a circle, anything really. and a nice bit of glue down and stick your word. Okay, next tip. So I've got a really nice textured background on here. I'm not going to use any pen mark. I'm just going to stick this down. It's already got everything it needs, really. It just needed a word somewhere. So then we've got some of these buttons that don't have any words on them, and I just want to show you that maybe you've got a page you've already worked on that just needed a little something. You can just add a circle on there. Here again, these don't have any words on them. I'm just going to use two. That one at the top there I didn't really like. However, when I put it on a messy background, it was okay. I then draw some little dashes all the way around it. I fill my page with black just to give a bit of contrast. And you'll see later on I take a picture of it. This looks really cool after I finish with it. Sniff that on your sniff that off the street, yeah, not in felt with one of longer that's right if we sniff that I throw the off, yes, boy, it will heal not. Nurse here if you see a fire not we yes, we have a sula, not sniff that it will say there was nivy, it will heal it.